what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Average Joe Dividends YouTube channel. In this video, I picked 5 stocks and I put $20 into each of those with my $100 deposit. And right now my strategy is to deposit just $200 into the portfolio. On Monday, I do 100, and then on Thursday or Friday, I do another 100. And in the Monday video, what I do is the $100 that's deposited is going to be where the buys are is determined by the allocations that I have. So any future money is going to go into this bucket right here, the 12 more dividends I'll show you. And so we can see probably where the money is going to go next week, probably into American Express. A lot of it's going to go into there, and maybe some of the other stocks as well within that slice. And I'll leave a link below so you can see what's all in this portfolio. And this is about 15% of my total net worth. I'm a firm believer in having most of your net worth in ETFs like a VU, VTI. And this, what I'm doing here with the individual positions, this is more of a hobby. And sometimes I pick stocks that outperform the S&P and sometimes I don't. But overall, though, this portfolio produces more income or more dividend return than like a VU or VTI does, which is like a 1.5%, and something like an SCHD or this portfolio is going to provide more than that. It's going to be well over double that, in the 3.5% territory. And the reason I like dividends is it kind of removes my decision making and when to sell things, because I know a lot of people argue, well, why don't you just put everything in VTI and then sell the shares later down the road? And the problem with that is I don't want to have to sell the shares or even make the decision to do that. And that's why I'm relying on dividends to kind of make that decision for me, because as we all know, dividends are not free money. It's actually a slice of the company kind of being sold off for you, if you want to look at it that way. So, the more and more I think about it, it's just decision making that I don't have to make. And even when the market is tanking, the dividend income is going to be reliable. It's going to be there. So anyway, enough about that. We can just take a look at the portfolio. And over the last year, it's performed pretty well at 27.63%. We can see the total dividends earned at $11,252.97 over the last year. And of course, that is going up. We'll look at the last 3 months, 5% return over the last 3 months. And then over the last month, same, about 5% over the last week. We had a pretty good week, and we're up 1.38%. I think we're just down a little bit today. We had a big day yesterday. You can see where we went way up. I was almost at the 270 mark, and I'm almost tired of changing my thumbnail from $250,000 portfolio to $260,000 portfolio, and maybe to the 270s. We'll see. But who knows, though? We could have a huge market downturn. We can go back to the 250s, 240s. Who knows? We just don't know where the market is going. But I stick with my plan, and that's to dollar cost average into this portfolio. And right now, just with a light $200 per week. So we can see the performance here of this. And again, with these slices, I'll leave a link below so you can see what is contained within these slices. So let's go ahead and get into the activity log and see what my 5 choices were. We can see here's my deposit, and then looks like 99.99 was able to be deployed into 5 positions, and we'll go over those. We're also going to see what the result is to my future dividend income. We'll also look at some historicals and see how this portfolio has grown over time, as well as the income. So first up, Hershey's. I think Hershey's is a pretty good buy right now, but of course what I'm doing is not investment advice. You need to do your own due diligence and research. So Hershey's has been pretty flat for quite a while, but one thing that Hershey's does, though, at least recently, is increase that dividend in double digits. I think last year was like 14-15%. We'll see what they do next January. And the next up, Lowe's. And then American Express. Remember how in my pies, in that 12 more dividends pies, American Express looked like it was in need of more funds in there to balance it out and get back up to the allocation. So $20 there. And then KKR, lesser known growth stock that does pay a dividend. And I've more than doubled my money with KKR just recently, so $20 there. And then $19.99 in Costco. It's never a good time to buy Costco. It's always overvalued. And of course, it pays a terrible dividend at less than 1%. But people don't realize that, like I said, Costco is always overvalued and it keeps going up. Will it in the future? I don't know. But the dividend, people always forget about the special dividend that's paid every 2 or 3 years. So those are my choices. Let's go over to my Google Docs spreadsheet. And what we're going to do is we're going to just go over it really quickly. And then we're going to look at the current dividend for these 5 companies that I'm expecting. And we're going to see how that's going to go up with the update to the sheet. So you can see this sheet tracks everything from the company, the ticker symbol, the share price, the average share price that I've paid. You can see Costco, I'm doing quite well on this one. 2.5 shares. Here's the current market value. Here's my cost basis. Here's my gain or loss. Here's my gain or loss expressed in a percentage. Anything above 25% is going to be in green. We can see here's the current quarterly dividend per share. I have 2 monthly pairs, and those are O and BST, and those are in the blue. And then here's the current yield, Costco paying about 0.5%. And then here's the yield on my cost, since in essence I've doubled my money, so my yield has doubled there. And this does not include the special dividend. This is just the regular dividend, the $1.16 per share. Here is the pay date. I have everything arranged or sorted by pay dates. And we'll go here to October. Everything in green here is going to be paying me in October. So I received $49.44 so far in October. But I have these left to pay me. So on the 12th, that'll be my next dividend. Illinois Toolworks will pay me $8.54. What I'll do is then I'll put a plus $8.54 to keep a running total of the dividends from Illinois Toolworks. And then we can see the total dividends. And here is the last increase from each of these. And we have some dividend increases coming up. So Pinnacle West in October they have not announced their dividend increase. Same with Exxon. And there's a few more. I think Lockheed's already done theirs. It was 5%. Scroll down. I think AbbVie is the last one in October. There's a couple more. Yeah, AbbVie. And A.O. Smith just announced 6%. So they've already done theirs. Now it's getting paid in $3, and now the next one's going to be over $4. So these things, they slowly increment and slowly move, but the trend is everything is increasing as far as their dividends for all of these companies within my portfolio. We'll scroll down here and we can see here's the monthly cash flow average. This is like a paycheck that I'm tracking, and we're currently at the $993.11. That's why I've kind of put this in here. We're going to see this change, as well as the quarterly and annual dividends. You can see here's the market value of the portfolio currently. Here's my cost basis. Here's my gain or loss with this portfolio. And then what's going on here is I had to create an array for BST and O. And since I sort these, it keeps moving these values. So I had to kind of lock them in here. Get the total for those two. And then for the quarterly, I have to add them in twice. So that's what's going on there. What 860 times 2 is I have to add in O and BST in this column to get them to add up to the total quarterly dividends, and then divide it by 3, then times it times 4 to get the annual dividends. You can see my strategy here with $200 a week in Monday and Thursday or Friday buy. All my dividends are reinvested back into the company that paid them. So we can see that's why they keep going up and up. And then I have the dividends, the current dividends for Costco and KKR, we're going to see those go up very modestly. We're talking a few cents because I only put $20 into each of those, and they pay less than a percent on their dividends, so it's going to barely move the needle, but it will move the needle as far as my investment with them just a little bit. And then Hershey's, we're going to see that go up a little bit since it pays a higher dividend than those other ones. And then the last two are Lowe's and then American Express. We'll see what American Express does. Hopefully we get another 16% dividend increase in January with them. But in order to update this sheet, what I do is I grab data from the Holdings tab at M1, and I do a copy and paste. And you can see there's 52 different positions in here. I'll go from name, grab all the data, we'll do a copy. And again, if you're interested to see what's in this portfolio, I'll leave a link below. Do a copy. And we're going to see these numbers change here for the 5 positions where I put the $20 into each of those. We're also going to see this change as well, this table. So let's go on over to the M1 data tab. Pay special. Values only. Now I just remembered I didn't show those fractional shares for the purchases. I'll do that at the end of the video to show you even $20 does buy, some fractional shares. It's not nothing. So go back to the dividend portfolio tab. We can see we're at $993.22. It went up just a little bit, and that's because it barely moved the needle as far as dividends, but as far as like stock appreciation for Costco, KKR, you can see how well these have done for me. I have more than doubled my money with both Costco and KKR, so these are growers. So we can laugh at the 3 cents and 2 cents, but as far as the stock appreciation, I'm not laughing there. And over time, the yield on my cost is going to go up for these as these grow their dividend. So we went up to Costco $2.97 and $2.69 for KKR. And Hershey's, we're going from $9.56 to $9.70, getting close to that $10 mark. All these that are in green, it means they're above $10. $10 or above will be in green. So once BlackRock gets at the $10 mark, same with Hershey's, they'll be both in green. And then next up, Lowe's from $7.37 to $7.46, and then American Express $4.46 to $4.51. Again, we're at that from $993.11 to $993.22, and of course the quarterly and annual went up as well. We're going to carry this value, the $993.22, and we're going to track this on my monthly average dividend tracking tab. Scroll all the way down here, got a lot of entries here. $993.22, and it moved the needle a whole 11 cents with that $100 deposit. But you can see just in October alone, here's the moves we've done with these are just dividend drips, and that moved the needle $6. Couple dividend drips, you can see it moves it just in pennies, sometimes a little bit more. But you notice though, these are happening all the time, every day or two, or sometimes multiple. We had 3 there in the 3rd, 2 in the 8th. So these do make a difference. And the change to the income so far, just in October, that's on line 437, starting here. So we've moved the needle $6.93. So these all add up, and that's $6.93 of additional income every single month going forward. And it just keeps going up and up, with the exception of SCHD. That's kind of the wild card there, where they have some volatility within their quarterly dividend, but over year, though, it does manage to keep going up. So that's we're going to have that right in there. I've thought about just locking that dividend in for the year so I don't have to keep explaining this and have that drop. So what I may do is just take the average of 2023, put that in there as the dividend over here for SCHD rather than changing it every single time. You can see that's what the current one is. I may just take the average of the 2023, lock it in so we don't have that up and down, and then explaining over and over about that. Let's go over to the dividend tracker tab. This has some historicals in here. I've been doing these videos since January 2021. Here's the portfolio value at $18,700. And then we can see the dividends paid to me in January 2021. Let's fast forward to current times here. We can see where we're over the $200,000 mark. We're getting close to the $300,000 mark here. Here is the dividends that have been paid to me so far in October. And then here's that monthly average dividend. You can see we were over the $1,000 mark before SCHD announced their Q3 dividend. But I think Q4 is going to push this over the top, back over the $1,000 mark. I think we'll get over the $1,000 mark before that announcement, just with the dividend reinvestments and my buys. We're up to $300 in deposits in October. Here's the monthly increase of $693. A month-over-month gain in dividend income at 0.70, and then a percent, and then annual dividends getting close at $12,000 mark, and we've increased annual dividends by $83.12. But what we can see here, the dividends we can expect for October, last October was at almost $550. We're going to be well into the 600s, so we'll see how well we do. And subscribe to the channel so you'll see what I'll go over every single dividend that I receive. I'll go through log in M1 and actually show you proof of the dividends that I'm receiving rather than just read them from a spreadsheet. That's why I like to show M1 is, this is the proof that I'm really doing this stuff, and try to inspire you guys. I know there are viewers out here who have a larger portfolio than I do, or they're just starting out, and I think we can all get value from each other. And that's why I do these videos, is to inspire people or keep people going who are ahead of me. So, like I said, though, this portfolio is 15% of my total net worth. I have investments in other places, and we'll go over those really quickly. So this, again, the 269,602, that's 15%. Let's go to my total net worth tab and close out this video. So over at Vanguard, I have an IRA over here, and I'm invested in their ETFs, just these boring ETFs, these indexes, and a lot of gurus out there, like a JL Collins, they'll tell you just do VTSAX or do VTI, and then add bonds as you get older. And I do believe in that, except for the bonds part. I'm just carrying cash instead for now, and use the cash to kind of ride out the waves. And bonds, I don't know. If you guys disagree with me, let me know in the comments below if you believe in bonds as your investing strategy. But you can see here, again, it's in boring ETFs, and over at Vanguard, total value is at 464. And then over here, this is my current employer, and I have everything in S&P 500 fund with, it's over at T. Rowe, but it's a Fidelity fund. I know it's kind of confusing, but this fund has a very low expense ratio in it. Then over at M1, I also have an IRA. And you can see what's in here. It is mostly, VU, VTI, and SCHD with a little BST for some income sprinkled in there. Here's the dividend portfolio that we went over. M1, this is like my 1-year emergency fund over there, and that's earning 4.5% interest. And then in Synchrony, I have a 6-month emergency fund over there getting, I think, 4.3% interest. They just dropped it down recently. And over here, this is more of a spending account. This is about 2 months of expenses. I like to keep a Capital One on hand for spending. I own a modest home, just a 3-bed, 2-bath, split level. And there's the value on that. It's probably inflated, probably not worth that because of realtor fees. And I should probably take that and multiply it by 0.93%, to get a more accurate picture of my home value. Here's my liabilities. Here is the current balance on my credit card. I never carry a balance. I have in the past when I was much younger and just getting started financially, but I pay this off well in advance of when it's due, so we won't accrue interest there. Here's my current mortgage debt, which I hate. I don't want to have any more debt. When I pay that off, I've been incrementing $100 every single month to my mortgage, and I'm thinking of using this over here, possibly liquidating this, and then to pay this off over here to pay off the mortgage. We'll see. I'm waiting for a crossover point for taxes because it'll be a taxable event to sell that. But we'll see. That would really, alleviate. To me, there's a little bit of stress just having a mortgage on my shoulders, and since I'm still employed with my W-2, I'll be able to invest even more aggressively as well. So I'm not just going to take that, extra money and blow it. So total net worth at 1.752. And then here's the breakdown in stocks, home equity, cash, pre-tax, U.S. international. Before I time out over here, though, let's go to the activity log. I want to show you those fractional buys. That even $20 does do something. So with Hershey's at $20, that bought me 0.10667 of a share. And then Lowe's, that bought me 0.07359 of a share. And then American Express, that bought me 0.0737 of a share. And then KKR, that bought me 0.14929 of a share. And then Costco, 0.02211 of a share. But it does all add up. It does add up. And one thing I want to close on is sometimes it's hard when you do a deposit on a down day. I did a $100 deposit, but we're down more than that, much more than that today. So it almost seems like, well, I did a $100 deposit and my money's gone. I think I used to think that way a long time ago. When you're investing into, a down day, a down market, it seems like your money is lit on fire, like the $100 just poof went into the ether. But of course it didn't, because we went over it in the activity log, buying those fractional shares. And when you buy things more on sale, when the market does rebound, it rebounds even harder, like pulling a rubber band back. In this case, it's not going to be that much because we're just down just 0.34%. So but it does make a difference over time. So that's all I had to show you guys for this video, was where my $100 went to, the 5 stocks that I chose to buy, and of course that small difference in as far as the income, adding the 11 cents. But of course, these are more growth stock plays, but it did make a tiny bit of difference, and it's incrementing this average monthly dividend up as I keep depositing and staying the course. So thanks everybody for sticking to the end of the video. If you got value from the video, please click the like button. Also subscribe